EDD Decklist and combo tutorial. Let's jump right into it. Actually, this is my first ever combo video on Master Duels. I will go over the card choices, and then I will show the main combo, and then I'll also show one of the many spin-off combos. So first we have Savant Kepler at 3. It's the straightest for the deck. We have a DD Necro Slime. Some people play it at 2. I like to play it at 3 because it's one of those pieces, if you have it in your hand, then you might actually have a full combo. So it's something you want to see in your hand. So my rule of thumb is, if it's something you want to see first turn, play 3 of it. If it's something you don't want to see, play 1. If it's something you sometimes want to see, or if it's something that you maybe want to see in your deck, but if you draw it, it ruins your combo, you play 2 of. Lame at 3 of. 1-star tuner, it summons itself, of course. Swirl Slime, 3. DD Ghost, I like to play 2. Because with certain other combos, sometimes it becomes relevant. Drawing it's not bad. Savant Copernicus, definitely a 3 of. This also gets your combo going. Orthros, I've been experimenting with. It's really good. It can pop problematic cards. It's also a tuner, but it does lock you, so you have to be careful. Proud Ogre is something else I'm trying out. It seems good because it's a level 6, so it helps you go into Wave High King Caesar, which we'll get into why that card's good later. King Apocalypse, 2 of. Oblivion King, 2 of that. Divine Zero King, definitely at least a 1 of. This card is very broke. Sometimes if you don't have the main combo, this can help you pendulum summon your small monsters like Kepler or Copernicus, and then that will also proc off your King Abyss Ragnarok because you special summoned, and then that can help you go into other plays. Plus, it also prevents you from taking damage, which a lot of these cards will burn you for 1,000. Like, these 2 will burn you for 1,000 in your standby phase. Dark Hole, Regeki, and Lightning Storm. Pretty much these, because the meta is so all over the place, I'm trying not to use all of these hand traps. I think I might play Max C and Max C only. Until I get to like the high tier lobbies, because when you're dealing with such random decks, these cards end up being more impactful than a hand trap, because a hand trap, every time I've used them so far, like right now I'm on gold, they just sit in my hand. Monster Reborn, clear, good card. Same thing with Foolish Burial. Wear Off Thou, good 2 of. 3 of us a little much. I mean, it searches for a lot of combo pieces. Lightning Storm, still very good. Dark Contra the Gate, it's another searcher. It's a 3 of. This you only need 1 of. It helps you get other combos. It also is good if you already drew Dark Contract with a gate. Forbidden Chalice has been really good. Now, I was going to play Droplets, but the thing is, I can chain Chalice to pretty much anything if they don't even have a monster on board. So, perfect example, if they go Dark Ruler No More, I chain Chalice to my Siegfried, increasing its attack and negating its effect, then chain Siegfried, because I'm not chaining directly to the Dark Ruler No More with Siegfried's effect. I'm chaining to the Chalice. Siegfried, I can choose to negate the Dark Ruler No More. Same thing can happen with Droplets if they don't discard a spell card. So, this card seems to be much better for this deck in particular, because I can negate those spell speed 4 decks or anything like that. Call by the Grave. Probably going to play this at 2 once I get another one. This is definitely a good 2 of. So this card, Dark Contract. This is something else I'm trying out. I think it's going to be better at the high tier lobbies. This card does a lot. So if you have a free search, let's say you already drew Dark Contract with the Gate and you don't need Dark Contract with the Swamp, all you have to have is 2 monsters in your Pendulum Zone. And this is a Floodgate. And I'll read what the card does. While you have 2 DD cards in your Pendulum Zone, your opponent cannot target monsters on the field with spell trap effects. Tribute them for a tribute summon, nor use them as a material for a fusion, synchro, or XYZ summon. So if you have 2 scales, they can't target your stuff with spells and traps. They can't tribute any cards on the field. They can't use them for fusion, synchro, or XYZ summon. So if you have this on the board, most decks can't play at all unless they only link summon, and not many meta decks right now only link. They usually do 2 or 3 of the mechanics. So this is a great flood deck, a flood gate for the deck. I've used this against like Shaddolls. It's pretty much a GG for them because they can't fuse with anything on the field, and if they're only fusing from the hand and you negate the Shaddol fusion and they can't, fuse from deck because you negated it, they don't really have any place. Alright, extra deck, very tight. I have Flame King Genghis. If you're a DDD player, I mean, this special summons something out of the graveyard when something's special. This one special summons a DD monster when it's normal or special, and then on your turn you can negate a spell or a trap card. This comes up a lot, so if you go second, often this is the card you're going to go into as your first fusion, just so that way you can start your plays if they have any back row. Formula that helps you go into your Hako Firebrax plays. It's amazing. With this card, you always want to wait until after something resolves, then do Halo Firebrax so you get your extra draw. Alexander, summon something from grave, like a lot of the DDDs do. Siegfried, it negates a spell or a trap, and it's a target negate, so it's really good card. Crystal Wing negates a monster effect, as you know. Borlord Savage, it is a general negation. Satellite Warrior, now this is showing as really good in the game. I think once Baron de Fleur comes out, I might change it, but for now, this is the best 10 to go into for this deck. During their turn, you could Hulk and then pop 2, easy, on their turn. And while you're doing that, you're going to summon Formula, and then you're going to go into, you're going to sync this and this to go into Borlord Savage. So you're going to pop 2 and then go into another negate just from summoning this. I actually had a duel where I went against heroes, and I used this right when they use polymerization. I'm like, okay, if I do this, they're going to go into the hero, the water hero that pops my entire field, my monsters at least. So he did. I had this and I had Gilgamesh, and I summoned 4 monsters on him because he blew up my field. So this card, if you use it preemptively, sometimes you have to know what your opponent's going to do. High King Caesar is probably one of the best cards in the extra deck. If you don't have full combo, this is like your B combo, your backup, because this can negate any special summon effect, and it detaches 1 and can be used multiple times. So you have 2 cards that you can, 2 times in a turn, you can negate a card that special summons another card. So what you can do is summon this if you think you're going to get Nibiru'd. Once you summon it, it can negate Nibiru. Or sometimes I'll just go with this and like a Gilgamesh. If, let's say, I drew really abysmal, so I just fusion summon twice, overlay. Sometimes him just alone, believe it or not, can win you a duel, because negating 2 special summons from 1 monster is pretty good. Also, when you send to the grave, you can add a Dark Contract, so he even has some recursion for your graveyard effects. DDD Duo Don King Kali Yuga. This card needs no explanation. It is one of the best rank 8s in the entire game. When you summon it, everything on the field's negated, nothing can be responded to, and it's a continuous effect. so it can't be negated unless its summon itself is negated. Can't be veilered. Its effect just happens on summon. It technically doesn't happen on summon. It happens once it exists on the field because it's not a trigger effect. Also, it's a heavy storm. So you can nuke all your opponent's back row. So let's say you're going against Eldlik control. You're going to see a lot of that in Master Duel. You summon this card. If they don't have Solemn Judgment or Strike to negate its summon, their back row's turned off. They can't activate anything. You also are locked into not activating effects, but naturally won't matter because you've already did what you wanted to do. Use effect, and you blow up their back row, and they don't have any response afterwards. So, and then it also has the effect to target a Dark Contract, and spell a trap in your graveyard and set it. So you can do that. It doesn't really come up as much, but mainly the first two effects. Negate everything on the board and destroy all back rows. How you already know. You summon tuners. Easy. It's really easy. During your opponent's turn, lots of shenanigans. I'll show that in the combo video later. Gilgamesh. This card, if you don't know what it does, it sets two of your scales. Pay 1,000, 2 scales in your zone. Most of the time, you're going to be going for Ragnarok and Apocalypse. Sometimes, if I don't have full combo, I'll go to Ragnarok and Zero King. And that's usually the play to go into High King Caesar. But the main thing about this card is people don't read online. Master Duels, they don't read. If this card's destroyed, you summon anything from your extra deck. That's a DD. And what you can do, if you have Ragnarok on board, I like to summon either High King Genghis, if I haven't already, or Flame King Genghis, which will trigger Ragnarok, which will use his effect to summon, let's say, High King Genghis. Then King Genghis effect triggers, you summon Siegfried. Then High King Genghis effect triggers, then you summon, let's say, Lamia, or, yeah, I think Lamia would be in your grave at that point. And you completely storm your board with everything because they destroyed one monster. Now, this can't happen during the damage step for the Ragnarok effect. But if that happens outside of damage step, they are screwed completely. Cross shape, Suffusion deck, you already know. Here are a lot of the cards that can go in and out depending on what meta you're going against. Maxi and Ash Blossom, of course, are a must. Like, those go in every deck. I think Maxi, however, is seeing, it's like the most, it's the largest priority for the deck. Ash, depending, you know, it's all opinion, but Ash, Maxi, both some of the biggest priorities. I think Effect Veiler, Imperm, also really, really, really good, because if you Maxi and draw into those, they become very good. Very good, very easy chainable. I like Droll. Droll's a super rare. Get Droll. Plain and simple, Droll. Gamma is also a good one. But yeah, these are just a lot of cards that you could easily splash in all these hand traps. Solemn Judgment is also something I've been experimenting with. It's really good because you set up your board and you hard drew Solemn Judgment, you set it. That's basically going to stop you from, if your opponent does find that one answer or the one out to your board. So it's working pretty good. Now we're going to move on to the combo segment, and I'm going to show you how to actually do the combos for the deck. So we're going to start off with a smaller combo. Now, this is when you don't draw full combo. The full combo, you have to have access to Lamia. you have to have Swirl Slime and Necro Slime. And another monster on board. That's a DD. That's it. So, with this hand, I don't have full combo. I have two pieces because I have the Dark Contract. So, I'll show you just a random combo. Like, DDDs have, it feels like hundreds and hundreds of combos. There's so many. So, I have 2 out of the 3. So, generally, the best play to go into is anything with High King Caesar and whatever else you can throw on board. So, I activated Dark Contract with the gate, searched Necro Slime, went to Genghis. Now Genghis is on board, I have Necro Slime in grave, I could just banish the Swirl Slime to summon the Apocalypse. Trigger that to special summon Necro Slime, because the Genghis effect triggers when Apocalypse summons. I then special summon the Tuner out of my hand with Swirl Slime, because its graveyard effect, you know, summons one from hand. Then I'm going to go straight into Hauk, because I have a Tuner on board. Hauk is going to go into Lamia, which is the 3rd piece, but with the way I had to do this, the order, I'm not really going to be able to do full combo. Good thing with this combo is chain stacking. If you summon Hauk and you're using the... Let's see, what card is that? DD Ghost. DD Ghost, when it goes to graveyard, it can send something in your graveyard from your deck also to your graveyard. So I could target, let's say, Swirl Slime from my deck, from my graveyard, and then send another Swirl Slime from deck to graveyard. Do that as Chainlink 2. Hauk is Chainlink 1, so if they have an Ash, they can't Ash you. And being Ash being the most popular card, you see where I'm going with that. Alright. So, summon Lamia, sync him and Apocalypse, go directly into Siegfried. Oh, no, I went to Gilgamesh. That's right. Gilgamesh, then set my scales. Then, banish those 2, go into another Genghis. Alright, then overlay those 2 into High King Caesar so I can negate 2 special summons. Alright. Now I can Pendulum Summon between 5 and 10, so I bring out the Apocalypse. Apocalypse triggers Ragnarok, summon Lamia, and then I synchro into Siegfried since I'm locked into DDs. So Siegfried comes out. So, pretty good field. I have Genghis if it goes to... a Gilgamesh if it goes to graveyard, I could summon something. With the Ragnarok to summon even more stuff. I have High King Caesar to completely stop special summonings effects twice. I have a Spell and Trap Negate, and I have a Hauk, so that way I can I can go into a Synchro Tuner and possibly go into a Pop 2. So, I believe this deck is Salamangreat. Okay, so he activates the Searcher. I'm like negate. Alright. It's not Siegfried's effects used up. I can Resolution, use Hauk, go into Formula so I draw my card so I don't miss timing. Then I wait for him to basically put anything on board. So he sets one, I'm gonna pop it. Real easy play. Right. They end up being one of the Salamangreat traps. Didn't want to deal with it. So I'm like, alright, I can go for game now. Do a search. This gets popped because of DD Servant Kepler's effect. Good thing for that, I can summon Formula Synchron. Normal summon Kepler. Of course, search. Or not even search, just bounce back so that way I can use the scale again. That's the part of Kepler that a lot of people forget. You can actually bounce back a DD card. Go into Gilgamesh to clear my field so I can Pendulum Summon 2 level 7s. At this point, I'm going for damage, I'm going for game. summon Lamia. And then go, of course, into Warlord Savage, just in case he has any hand effects that I'm trying to avoid. Use that to get Gilgamesh. Now swing for game. He has this card, which will summon. So, negate it with Gilgamesh. He actually should not have activated that, because Gilgamesh also gives himself and another DDD 1800 attack every time he uses effect. He uses it again. So naturally, High King Caesar effect. Do it again to negate. And then, yeah, he didn't have anything else. Alright, so that's if you don't draw full combo. Now, full combo, like I said, Swirl Slime, Necro Slime, access to Lamia, and another body on board. That's it. That's it. I will show you what the inboard is. Now this is susceptible to Nibiru. It without Baroness. Without Baroness, like, this deck can be Nibiru. But if you expect that your opponent has Nibiru, you go the safe play. If you don't feel like they have Nibiru, go off. Just go off. Just do it. Alright. So, with this, I had the Slime and the Copernicus. Copernicus can send Lamia to graveyard, so I have access to it. The only thing I'm missing at that point is Swirl Slime. So, add Swirl Slime. Then you go, Necro Slime. You use Swirl Slime's effect, send Necro Slime, get out Genghis. Now, you use Swirl Slime to special summon any DD from your hand, which will trigger Genghis. Genghis will special summon Lamia. Then you synchro off into Alexander. After Alexander comes out, you link that off in another DD for Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep comes out, use Necro Slime to banish him, and make sure you do Genghis. Genghis into High King Genghis. So that way you can trigger Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep will special summon Lamia. High King Genghis will special summon Alexander. Now you go those two into Hauk. Hauk will summon your DD Ghost, which will trigger Alexander to special summon your Lamia out of graveyard. Now you go into Crystal Wave. So now you are Nibiru proof, but up until that point, if your opponent didn't Nibiru you, they're screwed. Then you go those two into Genghis. Or Gilgamesh. I'm getting their G's mixed up. Too many G's. Then you chain block with Ghost at Chain Link 2. Send a Lamia, because Lamia is the most useful. Now you're going to set your scales with Ragnarok and Apocalypse. Use his effect, Apocalypse, to banish the Ghost and your Alexander. Ghost will send Genghis back to your graveyard so that we could summon it to Cross Sheep's zone once you clear it off. So, you're going to do that. Use Lamia, send the Gilgamesh so that we have an open zone now, because this is where you're going to summon the Genghis. Synchro those two into Siegfried, so now you have a spell and trap negate. Now trigger Ragnarok in your Pendulum Scale to summon Genghis into that zone. Now, you have two negates. Now, here's what I do. Whatever the first negate is, that's the one that I trigger. So if I trigger Siegfried first, that is the one I'm going to sync off with. So, the way it works is they activate something that I can negate, I negate it. If it seems like it's a good idea. Then you banish Hauk, go into Formula. After Resolution, get your draw. Then you wait for them to commit to the field. Say, it could be one card, it could be two. Whatever you think is a good point to blow up to. Then you quick sync Formula and the card that you used into Satellite Warrior. Into the zone that Cross Sheep points to. Cross Sheep's effect will trigger. You summon Formula again out of your graveyard. Once that resolution is done, after you pop the up to two cards, then you quick sync into Warlord Savage, and then Warlord Savage effect equip Gilgamesh out of your graveyard to it. It has 2 counters. It has some extra attack. So now you have a 3rd negate on the board. Plus you blew up cards. So let's see how this all plays out. Okay, this is the Shark deck. He plays Max C. Naturally, I'm going to negate that. So Crystal Wings effects used. Call by the Grave. Yeah. It doesn't hurt me at all. I don't even know why he activated that, in all honesty. That, if he would use that on Formula, that could have hurt if I didn't have this Sacred Period. So just let it go. Lamy I don't really need. I'll go into Formula after Resolution. Now I draw a card. He summons 2. He commits to field. Satellite Warrior into the with the Clear Wing that I already used. Alright. Summon that. Cross Sheep's effect triggers. His effect triggers. Pops the 2 cards. And then I'm going to summon Formula. He scoops. So, before I can go into the Warlord Savage. This usually happens. They usually scoop once they commit to field and you pop. Like, Satellite's really the game ender. But yeah, so that's how you use the deck. Closing remarks about the deck. It's really good. It's the whole meta in this game is undecided. So we don't really know what is, let's say, the best deck with the cards that we have available and the cards that we don't have available. Compared to modern Yu-Gi-Oh, this feels like much more of the Wild West. Like, I'm seeing people lose to the most random cards that no one in modern Yu-Gi-Oh would ever play. But you have to build a deck that can respond, basically a toolbox. You want to be able to reach in your toolbox, get the right tool for the job, and DDDs is that. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave in the comment below. Yeah, and thanks. You guys have a good day. Bye.